All rise. Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is the case of the ghost.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Okay. Miss Ghost, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, we have a 1-year-old daughter named Alexis Ray. We're not together anymore. We were married for 2 years. We divorced because I like women. And so I want to put him on child support. He don't do nothing for his little girl. So that's basically.
Okay. So you all divorced, have a 1-year-old.
Yes, ma'am.
And you want him to pay child support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. Sir, what do you have to say about that?
Your Honor, I don't have a problem paying child support, but, she did leave me for somebody else. She cheated on me throughout our relationship and things like that.
That's another court that has nothing to do with me. Continue.
Yes, ma'am. I only make $16 an hour, ma'am, as a warehouse supervisor. So it's really hard to make the ends meet. So, I don't know how much I can give. It's expensive to live where we live,
Well, according to the documents you provided, you make $18 an hour, not $16.
Oh.
So
he's
you
also
don't
a
know how
liar,
much you
Your
make?
Honor.
No, ma'am, I was mistaken. I apologize.
Oh, okay. But you get a check every month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all made the perfect couple. You're the liar, she's the cheater.
Well, that's semantics right there. That's the particulars. He lied. I didn't cheat on him.
Okay, well, we already established that he lies. I mean,
I told you he was a liar.
Well, I mean, you didn't even have to tell me that.
You knew that, right?
I don't know how you do it every single time.
What do you?
What I don't need you all to do is address each other.
All right, folks. Today we're getting into the Ghost case. Yes, that's really the mom's last name. Ms. Ghost is asking for child support for her 1-year-old daughter, Alexis Ray, and she comes in hot, saying the dad hasn't been doing a thing to help. But as the judge starts asking questions, it's clear this case isn't just about money, it's about a messy breakup and who's really taking responsibility. The dad admits he's the father, but quickly shifts into blaming mode, claiming Ms. Ghost left him for another woman. Then, when it's time to talk income, he tries to lowball his earnings, saying he makes $16 an hour. The court sets the record straight. It's actually $18 an hour. Before they even get to calculating support, the drama of their past relationship starts spilling out. This one's raw, emotional, and full of personal jabs.
Y'all will address me. There's obviously a reason that you're no longer married. Okay?
Because she's a cheater.
No, because you guys were the perfect storm is why you guys are not married anymore. Now, in terms of healthcare, who pays it for this child?
He pays it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she's
on his Medicaid.
Okay, so wait a minute. The child lives with you, but
yes, ma'am.
And the child is on Medicaid.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you paying Medicaid yet, or you haven't started paying them?
Yes, ma'am. I am paying for the child's health care right now.
Okay, so you guys understand that Medicaid is not health insurance, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is health. It's not health insurance per se in terms of a private carrier, but for the child, that particular service is through the state of Texas. So that money does have to be repaid to the state. You're not paying health insurance to her. You understand that, right? Or you didn't understand?
I understand. I understand that now, ma'am.
You understand it now? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you understand that Medicaid has to be reimbursed to the state, and you're going to have to start paying child support at $18 an hour. You understand that, right?
Tension hits a whole new level in the courtroom when the judge shuts down all the side chatter and brings the focus back to the facts. First off, no, Medicaid isn't private insurance. And yes, Dad still has to pay that money back to the state. Suddenly, both parents start looking uneasy. Ms. Ghost admits she's not working, flat out says she just doesn't work. The judge doesn't let that slide. If you're asking for support, you need to be making an effort too. Then comes the shocker, Mom's pregnant again. Dad immediately denies any involvement, claiming he hasn't even touched her in over a year. The judge gives him a sharp look but sticks to the law. Unborn children aren't part of the current support case. And if Mom tries to bring him back to court over the new baby, he has every right to request a DNA test. This isn't just child support court, it's real life, unfiltered and intense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You looked real depressed just then. I mean, did I say something wrong?
No, ma'am. It's just, I just know how much it's going to hurt, ma'am. That's all.
Know how much is what is going to hurt you.
The child support hit.
And you do understand that, Mom, are you working?
No, ma'am.
Why aren't you working? Why aren't you working?
I mean, I just don't work.
You don't want to work, but you think that he is solely responsible for taking care of your 1-year-old?
Well, she lives with me, so I take it.
I was talking, thanks. If she does live with you, yes, she does live with you, and he will be obligated to pay child support because of that. But you also need to be working too.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you going to come back in here next time with some proof of looking for a job?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I will. And I'm currently pregnant again. So we might
Your
do
Honor,
for
that is not my child.
Oh, that was my next question, but
I ain't touched her in like almost a year.
okay, that is good information to know.
Wouldn't
That
touch her
has
either.
nothing to do with this, because a child that is not born is not a child within existence at this moment. So therefore, child support can be determined anyway.
We'll be back, though.
You'll be back for
We'll be
that
back.
child. Okay, well, when you return, we will discuss
somebody
that
else.
child.
With you.
Now it's time for the numbers, and Dad starts to sweat. He confirms he's working 60 hours a week at $18 an hour, which adds up to over $2,100 before taxes and about $1,900 take-home pay. Based on that, the judge breaks it down. $194.40 each month for health insurance reimbursement and $380.72 for monthly child support. Dad stays quiet, but his face says it all. He's stressed. Then Mom hits him with a request for back pay. Just like that, the $380 monthly total jumps to a jaw-dropping $6,600 in owed support. Dad tries to argue that he gave her cash here and there, but the judge shuts that down fast. Cash doesn't count unless it's officially documented. It's considered a gift, not support. He's responsible for every unpaid month since the baby was born. That adds another $100 a month on top, and suddenly, reality hits hard. You can see the shock all over his face.
Back with you.
Well, sir, just make sure you know, I just want you to know that you do have the right to get a DNA test.
Oh, really?
Yes, you have a right to get a DNA test on that child that she's pregnant with, just to make sure if she does bring you back, that if it's not your child, you won't be placed on child support.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that?
It's your child, so don't worry about that.
Ma'am, I don't need you addressing him, okay? And as of right now, we don't know whose child it is. When I say we, I'm speaking about the court. We don't know whose child it is, because you're currently pregnant. He hasn't had an opportunity to do a DNA test, okay?
Get pregnant from another girl.
All right. Sir, I do not need that extra sidebar over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right. So based on $18 an hour, what is your work week? And truthfully, how many hours do you work a week?
Roughly 60 hours a week, ma'am.
Okay, you told the truth about that. I just have to verify everything that you say from now on. So $18 an hour at 60 hours per week, that brings your gross to about $2,160. Your net of $1,903.58. Now, in terms of health insurance, at another time, you do have the right to get some sort of health insurance plan for your child. However, for today, you're going to have to reimburse that money to Medicaid. So what I'll have to do is I'm going to take 9% of your gross, that $2,160 amount. 9% of that is $194.40. Now, if you are able to find some health insurance that's cheaper than that, that would be great. You have the right to do that. And when that does happen, you can come back to court and we can make the change. Okay. But as of today, that's the number. Then you're going to pay.
This is where reality really sets in. The judge finalizes the order. $480.72 per month moving forward. That includes child support, Medicaid reimbursement, and back pay. Mom stays quiet. Dad just nods, clearly defeated. He tried to talk his way out of the payments. The judge shut that down. He questioned paternity. The judge offered a DNA test. He tried to downplay his responsibility, but the court calculated everything by the book. He didn't bring any proof, didn't argue for custody, and wasn't ready for what delaying the case by a year would cost him. The judge wasn't being harsh, just following the law. And before wrapping up, she gave a reminder for anyone watching. If you're coming to court, bring your receipts, not your excuses.
your child support obligation is $380.72, but mom, sir, asked that you pay back pay since the day that the child was born. You know what that means, right?
No, ma'am.
So pretty much that $380 amount, you're going to be responsible for paying that for the past 12 months. Yeah. You're looking real confused right now.
Not confused, concerned, ma'am. That's all.
Well, okay. So up until this point, you have not been giving her any type of financial support for your child. Isn't that correct? It's a yes or no.
I have, ma'am, but I can't prove it because it's always been cash. So
the answer is no.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you've given her cash, that's a gift. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the back pay that she requested for the past 12 months would bring your back pay, is also known as retroactive child support, $6,600. Okay. And I'm going to make that payable at $100 per month. So your new child support obligation is going to be $480.72 a month. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you all have any further questions or anything? Any concerns you want to bring to the attention of the court?
Yeah, ma'am.
Anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
In the closing moments, the judge lays it out clearly for everyone watching. The big takeaway? If there's a baby and you haven't been paying child support, expect to owe back pay, and only if the other parent asks for it. In this case, mom did exactly that, and now she's getting support going back 12 months. As for the second pregnancy, it doesn't matter right now. Without proof and a paternity test, it's not part of this case. And any cash dad might have handed over without records? That doesn't count. No receipts, no credit. This is one of those cases where real life collides with legal rules. Emotions may be high, but in court, it's the facts and timing that win. Bottom line, file the right paperwork, be clear in your requests, and come with evidence. Otherwise, you could end up walking out with a big debt and no defense.